Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. And yes, today we are doing another Lessons in Insanity. And this time, we're going to look at some quotes by Vice President Kamala Harris in regards to the recent FBI raids against former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home or residence. And let's see here. We got, and this is an article. Vice President Kamala Harris said on Friday that she has full confidence in the Department of Justice after the search warrant that was used during the FBI raid of former President Trump's Florida residence was unsealed. Well, as a former prosecutor, I will tell you, I don't speak about anybody else's case, but I have full confidence that the Department of Justice will do with the facts and the law requires. Quote unquote. That's her speaking, not me. Harris said in response to a reporter's question. She also called attacks on law enforcement unacceptable. That's interesting. Because before Kamala Harris and Joe Biden took power, things were a bit different. As I recall, attacks against law enforcement officers appeared to be encouraged from the left. I can tell you where I am located at one point. We had checkpoints being set up by Antifa and Black Lives Matter groups that would inquire as to why you don't have either a anti-fascist bumper sticker on your car or a Black Lives Matter bumper sticker on your car. They had blocked a interstate and were trying to set up checkpoints there as well. They had assaulted the local police department. It's a fairly large city where I'm at. A police memorial, and desecrated that. And as I recall, these were called mostly peaceful protests, and individuals were performing their rights to protest. So it's amazing how suddenly things change, and then she supports the law enforcement apparatus when they control it. And I think I should probably elaborate a little bit in terms of why I feel the way I do. I'm not a Republican. I'm actually a independent. I've been an independent for a very, very long time. I moved from the Republican Party to independent after the invasion of Iraq, and probably about a year into the post-Iraq debacle, and I have various reasons for that. But I moved from Republican, and I was a Republican, to independent, and still am currently not affiliated. I'm an independent. But for me, I would say that there's been a couple of very profound moments that has created my viewpoint. And going back to the Clinton administration, I had a colleague who had been with, and this was just after the Clintons had left office, and this was before a lot of the books that are now out that obviously you can go read about the Clintons and that exist. And the colleague that I knew had been a Marine assigned to HMX-1 during the Clinton administration, and he vented quite a bit about his experience on the Marine detail for HMX-1, and the Marines and the Secret Service would communicate quite a bit. And according to my colleague, the Secret Service would also vent to the Marine HMX 1 detail about ongoings in the White House. And according to the Secret Service agents that he had interacted with, or the ones that had vented to him, and he would see some of the same things on the actual helicopter in regards to the Clintons as well. Some of the things that they said and did really kind of unnerved him. And then also the issue of what was happening in the White House, and kind of some of the things that you've heard in regards to the books is what he was talking about that have happened in the White House. He talked about that some of the background check requirements for some of Clinton's, Bill Clinton's friends and Hillary Clinton's friends were set aside or not allowed to happen because a lot of these guys that were visiting the White House, according to this colleague, they had criminal histories. And at one point, one of the Secret Service agents had vented to him that they had done cocaine. Not they, the Secret Service, but certain individuals in the White House, in the actual Oval Office, had and they had to assist in cleaning some of this up, had done cocaine races on the actual president's desk, and then some other things that obviously you can check out for yourself, and then obviously just some other things that were discussed that were just really out there, and it's just something that you don't see as presidential, and really kind of makes you scratch your head. So that's one component, and obviously that's not the only component that really has me concerned about this current administration. I know they aren't really connected, obviously, but at the same time they are part of this political apparatus that, at least to me, has operated in a fairly nefarious manner at times. And again, this is just my opinion and how I feel. I'm just trying to explain the why, and the why behind how I see things and what has kind of formed this opinion that I have. And again, it's only an opinion. And then furthermore, what really kind of and I've talked about this before, was the direct commissioning of Hunter Biden. I don't think many people really understand what happened in regards to that process, and how much political power, that Joe Biden as vice president had to push upon the Navy to get that direct commission for his crackhead son. And furthermore, when the Navy finally the Navy knew that he had a drug problem before he was given the direct commission. And that was one of the waivers. He had two waivers. One was his age. Two was his history of drug abuse. And then actually there was a third waiver. He really didn't have a skill set other than being an attorney who never really practiced as basically going to be a spokesperson, what do you call that? Basically a spokesperson for the Navy, and a civil affairs officer. And he really didn't have a background in that, and that's not what the intent of the direct commission is for. Again, it's for getting in doctors, dentists, or oral surgeons, jobs that the Navy really can't acquire through the normal process, either through the Naval Academy or one of the other academies, ROTC, Recruiting Officers Training Corps, or the officer training program as well. Again, this is just he comes in with no experience, and he becomes a naval officer with no training. And that's what they did. And again, they had to waive the age, the drug history, and the fact that he really didn't have any applicable skills as well. And that goes back to the vice president's desk, Biden, and it centers on integrity and not doing what's good for the nation, because there's a very few slots for those direct commissions, and they let him take one, and he had no business doing that. And then finally, when the first day he comes to duty, they piss test him. They do a urinalysis, drug test, and he fails it. He fails it because he's a crackhead. And instead of getting a dishonorable discharge, which under normal circumstances would happen for anybody else in the Navy, he gets an honorable discharge, and he gets an administrative honorable discharge is what happens. And again, so just kind of, you can say, well, Donald Trump hired his daughter and his son-in-law. Yeah, I mean, they were presidential advisors, and there's a long history of that sort of stuff happening. There are appointments that take place inside the office of the president. It's totally separate. This is a naval decision or a armed forces decision that was directly influenced by Joe Biden. Unacceptable. And then finally, for me, again, just another nail in the coffin, you have this individual that, again, this is more or less a direct commission. This is the now admiral that's in charge of the United States Public Health Service. And a lot of people joke that this person with gender dysphoria, a transvestite, is now a U.S. naval admiral. Now, while he doesn't control any combat arms units, he's not managing actual naval personnel from a combat arms component. He's not commanding a ship or anything like that. But obviously, he is commanding a very serious component of the public health sector, while at the same time is suffering from a serious psychiatric disorder. This person is not mentally healthy. He, Levine, Admiral Levine, or whatever you want to call him, has serious mental health issues, and I do not believe that sort of person, again, should get a commission to admiral and then command the public health service. And this is all doing under the pretext of equity and inclusion. It's an ideology, and it's a destructive ideology, and I don't agree with it. And maybe you agree with it, and that's fine, but I do not. Now, when you take these things that I've just mentioned, what happened with the Clintons, and again, this is what created my view, and these are three very, very important items that kind of created this viewpoint that I have. What happened with Hunter Biden's direct commissioning? Reprehensible. I believe that's grounds for impeachment, or he should have been removed as vice president if a proper investigation had taken place regarding nepotism and what have you. It's just completely unacceptable. And then finally, this Admiral Levine, just unacceptable. Clearly, you want to stick them in someplace else, but seriously, commanding the public health service as an admiral? I mean, that's bold, and you're doing that for a reason, and it's not a good reason. So when you take those three things that really kind of focuses on decision-making processes, it takes into account the integrity of a person, and you look at the raid that took place with the FBI. And I'm not even going to get into the whole Steele dossier and all that other stuff. That no matter how you feel about Trump, and I'll speak frankly, am I a what you would call a Trumper? No, I absolutely am not. I think that he was a creation of a lot of frustration that was happening in the United States. He's got a real issue, meaning Trump, in terms of being presidential, and he would say and do things that really were uncalled for. And if you sat on the left side of the political spectrum, and at the same time you were kind of hearing what some of the stuff that he would say, I can understand why he was very polarizing. And but that does not give this administration the right to use the law enforcement apparatus in an attempt to prevent him from running for president again. And that's what I believe is happening right now. I think, again, going back to some of the things that Biden has done in the past, and this administration has, and this party has done in the past, in terms of recent history in the last few decades, have been incredibly dubious at best. And again, I believe that if there were some documents, and let's say this was a reasonable and lawful law enforcement operation on Mar-a-Lago, I think there were other ways to go about doing that. You cannot tell me in the past, with all the presidents we've had and some of the problems that we've had with certain presidents, that there hasn't been case history in the past where either law enforcement entities or other government agencies would have to conduct outreach to a president. Obviously, you have all these presidential libraries, so you have a lot of information that has come from the White House, and now they're who knows what they're going to allege. But the distrust is now there, at least for me, and that is what is causing me to say, well, okay, you did this regarding Crackhead Hunter. You did this with this Admiral Levine. We have this other incident that took place during the Clinton administration, right, where you have, and again, this is documented, it has been talked about quite a bit, but no investigation has occurred in regards to some of the things that happened in the Clinton White House. Not at least on the level of the FBI. Not like we're seeing now. I mean, they are going after this cat because they don't want him to run, and that's what's happening. And they're concerned. They want to keep power. The Democratic Party, and they're in a pickle right now because they got a very unpopular man in the White House, and things have really turned south in regards to the economy and in regards to international affairs. I mean, we're probably closer to World War III, a lot more closer to World War III, meaning a nuclear exchange, than anybody really even understands right now. And, you hearken back to before Trump moved into office, and you heard all these Democrats talking about he's gonna cause World War III, and none of that happened. But now they're in power. Now we're on the precipice of World War III. That's not being said in the mass media right now, but things are serious right now between Russia and the United States, China and the United States. More serious probably right now than we have seen since maybe the Cuban Missile Crisis. Probably more serious than the Cuban Missile Crisis. But the media is not doing a very good job at covering the seriousness of what's happening, unfortunately. And it is incredibly serious what's happening right now. And that's my opinion. Wanted to share it. Wanted to talk about it, and maybe that may clarify on the way my point of view has formed, and why I feel the way I do, and why I say some of the things I do. Just to the point, do not trust this party right now, and there's a reason for that, as explained in some of those key points that I've brought up. Please do some research on your own. Reference the Direct Commission. You decide whether Admiral Levine is qualified and is the best person for that role, given some serious psychiatric issues he has. And then finally, you can look up other stuff as well, such as the Steele dossier and how that all went down. You know how that, most of you do anyway. But anyway, I think I've gone long enough. I hope everybody has a beautiful, beautiful, happy Saturday, wherever you are. Have a good day.